Around 1 year ago, I covered Vladimir Kramnik's cheating accusations against Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. I think any creator at the time would be forgiven for taking the topic seriously. Kramnik is a former world champion and should have been a very credible person within the chess community. We had every reason to believe that his claims came from a place of true concern. Since then, Vladimir Kramnik has accused Jose Martinez, Denis Lazovic, Lequang Liem, amongst many other grandmasters of cheating in either online or over-the-board play. Once it became abundantly clear that Kramnik had absolutely no idea what he was talking about, I still gave him the benefit of the doubt that his intentions were pure. The most logical conclusion that I could come to is that Kramnik is just accusing everybody of cheating until one of them actually are. Once he had successfully caught one cheater, it might prevent other people from cheating to avoid Kramnik coming knocking. But my opinion on that has since changed. After Vladimir Kramnik's investigation on Daniel Naroditsky, I find it very hard to believe that his actions come from a place of good faith. Although there was a complete lack of evidence, the argument against Hikaru Nakamura made some amount of sense. Realistically, if Hikaru Nakamura could present himself as a better chess player than he actually is, he would reap financial benefits because that's a big part of his online brand. The same cannot be said about Danya. His entire online personality revolves around him giving free educational content to people that they can use to improve themselves. He gains nothing from being a little bit better than he already is because that's not what people care about. Whilst Danya is renowned for being a great blitz and bullet player, if he wasn't any of those things, I don't think people's opinions on him would change too much. I also just quickly wanted to point out, just because your circle of friends and the content you consume suggests that 99% of people don't believe what Kramnik is saying, doesn't mean that's the truth. There is an absolutely mind-blowing amount of people consuming Russian chess content on YouTube or any other platform that 100% believe everything he says. The absolute harassment Vladimir Kramnik has targeted towards Daniel Naroditsky is nothing short of barbaric. But to me, it answered a question that I've always been wondering. Why does he do it? There are many reasons that Vladimir Kramnik might accuse everyone of cheating. Maybe he actually believes it, or maybe he's just the world's worst loser. But to really answer the question of why Vladimir Kramnik keeps accusing everyone of cheating, we need to go back before it started. In 2021, International Master Levi Rosman, or Gotham Chess, played against an Indonesian opponent named Dua Kipas, live on his Twitch stream in front of 12,000 viewers. Immediately, Levi became suspicious of his opponent, realizing they had gained over 1,000 ELO in just the last month, paired with numerous suspicious games against highly rated players. Importantly, Levi didn't explicitly accuse his opponent of cheating, but the insinuation was certainly there. Several hundred reports of the account poured in from his livestream viewers, resulting in Chess.com banning the Indonesian player's account hours after their game. Just moments after the account was banned, a Facebook user by the name of Ali Akbar claimed to be the son of Dedang Subur, the player Levi lost to. He claimed his father was a retired tournament player and there was no cheating involved. He also claimed the account was banned due to Levi's influence at Chess.com and not because of genuine proof. This Facebook post went absolutely viral, resulting in a flurry of online hate targeted at Levi Rosman. Ali Akbar claimed that his father was of 2,500 playing strength, which immediately raised suspicions amongst other Indonesian masters who had never heard of him before. A prize pool of $21,000 was raised for Dedang Subur to prove his skill in a real over-the-board game against international master Irene Sukandar, where a concurrent 1.2 million viewers watched the retired player get destroyed 3-0 in a trifecta of games which displayed nothing more than a 1200s understanding of the game. It was quite clear that Dedang Subur was not who he claimed to be, and the user Duas Kipas was certainly cheating against Levi Rosman. But a precedent was set here. Even if it is blindingly obvious that your opponent is cheating, people might not believe you unless you go to extraordinary measures to prove that they did. That precedent was completely flipped on its head in September of 2022 when five-time world champion Magnus Carlsen called out Hans Niemann for cheating in their over-the-board game in the Sinkfield Cup. Even with extremely limited and circumstantial evidence that Hans Niemann did cheat in that specific over-the-board game, people believed it anyway. There were two main factors leading to people blindly believing Carlsen's accusations. The first was that it was Magnus Carlsen, one of the most credible people in the world of chess, and not only the current, but a five-time world champion. The second was that it was easy to create the narrative surrounding it. Whilst Niemann had never been caught cheating in over-the-board games, he had admitted to cheating in several online games he played when he was younger. Even though there was a huge difference in cheating in online chess and cheating in over-the-board chess, the narrative was easy to set. It was quite obvious that Hans Niemann was an exceptionally talented chess grandmaster who was certainly capable of beating the world champion on his day. But to the rest of the world, that didn't matter. So a new precedent was set. You can accuse anyone you would like of cheating, as long as you're a very credible player and the narrative is easy to write. You might be thinking this is obvious, but it's helpful to understand why Vladimir Kramnik wasn't accusing people of cheating in the year 2020, when cheating was certainly more prevalent. It's because there wasn't a precedent set back then. Sure, you might be able to convince a couple of other masters that somebody is cheating, but you certainly couldn't get the rest of the world to believe it too. To answer the question of why Vladimir Kramnik keeps accusing random players of cheating, we need to be introduced to an ongoing feud that is much lesser known than Kramnik's frivolous accusations: the Russian Chess Federation. What originally caught my attention about all of Vladimir Kramnik's claims was how quickly Grandmaster Jan Nepomniachtchi was to jump to his defense. Jan Nepomniachtchi supported Vladimir Kramnik's claims that Hikaru Nakamura was cheating in both online and over-the-board play, even going as far to suggest that Hikaru Nakamura was cheating in the 2022 Candidates Tournament held in Madrid. Likewise, Jan Nepomniachtchi also supported Vladimir Kramnik's claims against Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky that he was cheating in online play. So to help understand why Vladimir Kramnik keeps accusing everyone of cheating, it helps us to understand why Nepo is so quick to jump to his defense. I don't believe that this is just patriotism and supporting a fellow countryman. For example, if Fabiano Caruana came out and accused, let's say, Sagar Shah of cheating, other American grandmasters wouldn't jump to his defense. Not only do they risk having their reputation ruined, but it's also just very clear that Sagar Shah isn't cheating. I don't think you can argue it's a cultural thing either, because the United States is extremely patriotic, and I don't think you can just put it down to patriotism unless there's some underlying issue as well. So let's look a little bit further. To save you the confusion later, I'm going to introduce you to a couple of key Russian players that will be important later on. I'm also going to catch you up to speed on some people we've mentioned already. Vladimir Kramnik. Vladimir Kramnik is a one-time world champion according to FIDE, but a three-time world champion if you include the Classical Chess Championships. He was also a runner-up world champion in 2007 and 2008 against India's Vishwanathan Anand. Vladimir Kramnik notably also had a cheating accusation thrown his way in the 2006 World Chess Championship against Bulgarian Grandmaster Vasilin Topalov held in Russia. Vasilin called Vladimir out for taking frequent bathroom breaks during their World Championship games. There were cables found in the toilet after their championship games, but no wrongdoing was proven. It's also worth noting that the earliest recorded proven instance of engine-assisted cheating was in 1993, so cheating in 2006 was certainly possible. Jan Nepomniachtchi. Jan is a Russian grandmaster currently ranked 8th in the world with a rating of 2,753 elu. He's a two-time World Chess Championship runner-up, but has never won the title, losing to Carlsen in 2021 and Ding Liren in 2023. Alexander Grischuk. Alexander is a Russian grandmaster currently ranked 41st in the world with a rating of 2,675 elu. He's a three-time Blitz World Champion, winning the tournament in 2006, 12, and 15. However, on the classical stage, he's never reached a World Championship final. He's played in the Candidates 5 times and gotten to the semi-finals of the 2000 Chess World Championship back when it was a knockout format. Danil Dubov. Danil is a Russian grandmaster currently ranked 39th in the world with a rating of 2,693 elu. He's a one-time Rapid World Champion, winning the tournament in 2018. Danil has never qualified for the Candidates, making the Rapid World Championship his only major title outside of Russia. However, he is notably ranked 4th in the world in over-the-board blitz, rated 2,806 elu. It's also worth noting that Jan Nepomniachtchi is ranked number 1 in Russia, Danil Dubov number 2, and Alexander Grischuk number 3. Vladimir Kramnik was last ranked number 1, but is currently inactive and therefore not ranked. To fully understand the concept that I'm going to be presenting later on in the video, it's important for me to tell you about some key events over the last 4 years. In the 2020 Olympiad, which was held online due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the final match between Russia and India was called off after several Indian team members experienced connectivity issues due to a global outage of the Cloudflare servers. The final round was mostly played already. However, Nihal Sarin and Divya Deshmukh didn't get to finish their games. Omitting these games, Russia would have won the Olympiad. However, these were the evaluations of the final positions. Andrei Espienko versus Nihal Sarin was 0.00 and very likely to go on to be a draw. The game between Divya Deshmukh and Polina Shivalova was +3 for the Indian side, meaning that India was likely to win this game. With Divya very likely to win and Nihal very likely to draw, it would have been almost certain that India would have tied for first place with the Russian team. However, if both Indian players won their game, India would have won outright. After some deliberation, India and Russia were announced joint winners of the event. Jan Nepomniachtchi took to Twitter days later. Smart decision to please Indian chess community, meanwhile forgetting about other fans and players. selective nobleness. When American Grandmaster Mitra Abhimanyu broke the record for becoming the youngest GM of all time at just 12 years old, breaking Russian Grandmaster Sergei Karyakin's record, Yan Nepomniachtchi took to Twitter to say this: "I'm dazzled with the new record, so I'd like to suggest some changes to the order of conferring titles. For example, one of the norms must be fulfilled in an open tournament, and the participation of 2,400 GM luminaries in stamping new tiles should finally be limited." Abhimanyu's father replied on Mitra's behalf: "Thanks, I am a very positive guy and would take that as compliment to dazzle world champion challenger. On a lighter note, it would have made much more sense to suggest these awesome suggestions when you were approaching your GM title." Yan Nepomniachtchi replied with, "Whoever wrote this, blink twice if you need help." In the World Blitz Championship in January of 2022, Yan Nepomniachtchi versed Grandmaster Pentala Harikrishna. After a threefold repetition with the white pieces, Yan Nepomniachtchi refused to shake the hand of the Indian Grandmaster.
More dirty next time. What? Should play more dirty next time, no?
I didn't play dirty, it's slip.
No?
Yeah.
One more. No, you slipped like 5 times in a row.
What?
You slipped 5 times in a row.
Following the Hans Niemann scandal in September of 2022, Yan Nepomniachtchi said this about Hans Niemann replacing Richard Rapport in the event.
I think I wasn't the only person who was quite unhappy about this particular replacement. Yeah, somehow I felt things could go a little bit wrong. So the moment I received the letter with the news of Jeffrey is replacing in Rapid and Blitz and Hans is replacing in the classical part, I sort of asked organizers for let's say some extra measures to be taken. Yeah, extra things to be done. Make the tournament, let's say, more safe and clean. But I think none of this was was done until said case of their Magnus withdrawal.
In November of 2023, Vladimir Kramnik accused American Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura of cheating in his online games. Some small new piece of statistics. Recently noticed a player had scored 45.5 out of 46 consecutive 3-minute blitz games against approximately 2,950 in average rating opposition. Few different players, which is equivalent to 3,600 plus performance in those 46 consecutive games. I believe everyone would find this interesting. In the same month of November, Grandmaster Yan Nepomniachtchi piled on these claims on his Twitter, because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs. Hikaru would then clarify in 2024 that Yan Nepomniachtchi had accused him of cheating in over-the-board games as well.
Is it true that Hikaru said that you think he cheated in candidates? What is the truth? What he thinks, or what I said? Because
I know what he said, though. That's the problem.
Is not a where I would expect him.
By the way, I just want to be very clear because we're talking about this. Nepo can try to hedge and pretend, but I've heard both firsthand and secondhand about various events that he's accused me of cheating in. I've heard it firsthand and secondhand from people that he's spoken to, and then from people of people. That's the bottom line. So he can lie and pretend that he hasn't said it, but he has, and this is where.
This claim was supported by Russian-Israeli women's Grandmaster Dina Belenkaya, who stated,
"Nepo's team were literally telling me that Hikaru's cheating over the board in Madrid and candidates in 2022. That's how far their paranoia goes." Really, really bad. And I mean, I think it's amazing that FIDE knows about this, and there's no sanctioning for this. He said it about me, he said it about Gukesh, he said it about Hans, obviously, and a plethora of other people as well. So
shortly after the Tata Steel tournament in 2024, Yan Nepomniachtchi went on the Lebedov Chess podcast in Russian and said this about Wei Yi. "In my game against Wei Yi, I basically lost to a computer, because it was played to perfection. In my career, I've only had one classical game that I think was as good as this one, but Wei Yi went on to play another 2 such flawless games, against Maxime Bashir-Lagrave and Vidit Kutrafi. So 3 in the same tournament, it definitely casts some doubts. But why worry when it's impossible to prove anything? You can suspect all you want, but it's impossible to prove." The conversation leading on from this revolved around Tata Steel's weak anti-cheating measures at their tournament. In the same month, Yan Nepomniachtchi went on the C-Squared podcast.
So, to be honest, I made a good prediction that Gukesh will win candidates. It was I think mid-January during the Vaikanze. I discussed something connected to the Toronto with one of the FIDE officials. And maybe he didn't take my prediction seriously, but
Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura also claimed that Jan Nepomniachtchi accused Gukesh Domaraju of cheating in the 2024 candidates.
Yeah, as far as Nepo goes, I mean, I think he, out of all the top players, I said this before, and I'll reiterate again, like, he also accused Gukesh of cheating. He spoke to FIDE officials, he spoke to the arbiters at the candidates in Toronto, and basically, he's essentially saying Gukesh is too good. Gukesh is cheating, and he can't win the tournament on his own. Nepo literally pulled out his phone, and he showed some game that he played against Gukesh, and was trying to say that it was proof that Gukesh had cheated.
In May of 2024, Vladimir Kramnik lashed out at 17-year-old Nihal Sarin regarding his online play. 28 out of 36, 25 won, 5 lost, 6 draws. Must be having great mouse skills, I suppose, according to chess.com and its devoted fans, right? He was never yet in top 20 over the board. First, such advantage to show by far #1 performance in 36 games against top 10 players? Answer is absolutely no. Nihal Sarin's manager responded on Twitter, "Please name the player in question and maybe play him in a face-to-face esport format match to satisfy your curiosity. I can sponsor the prize fund on the condition that the winner gets 100% of the prize money." Kramnik proceeded to reject this proposal, saying that he was simply publishing true statistics. During the 2024 Olympiad in September, Vladimir Kramnik took part as the captain of the Uzbek team. In round 9, the Indian team drew the Uzbek team. In a interview with chess.com's Mike Klein, Vladimir Kramnik said this.
Not at the beginning of the round, not in the middle, from the very beginning, because it is an obvious violation of FIDE rules. Okay, please, instead of telephone, put the camera, I have no problem, but not telephone, because it's a device which is theoretically, can transmit moves, but it's not against Indian team or something, but just like, if you're taking a little bit serious anti-cheating, you just cannot do it simply.
When questioned, Vladimir Kramnik was aware that FIDE had checked all of the camera equipment that the Indian team were using, but he insisted.
No, of course there is no SIM card, but in nowadays technology, it's not difficult to. There was I was present there. There was Bluetooth. You could switch on Bluetooth. So, SIM card, not SIM card, it is a kindergarten. It doesn't matter at all.
Most notably, ChessBase India were using mobile phones to broadcast the games for 8 rounds prior, but Vladimir Kramnik did not have a problem with it until it was against his team. On a podcast with Greg Mustreader in September, Alexander Grischuk said this.
It's like, how it's called? Black box, yeah, I don't know as you say in Russian, yeah, but I don't know how you say it in English.
Why do you think he doesn't do as well in Rapid and Blitz?
That's what interests me as well.
So you mentioned that you believe that top players should be top in all formats. Maybe
Yes.
he's just like Fabi, not that doesn't take Rapid and Blitz seriously, or what could be the explanation?
Maybe.
Any other options? Or okay.
A few minutes later, Greg asked Alexander who he thinks will win in the World Chess Championship.
With the way Dink is playing now, I can give 99 to Gukesh. But if Dink plays, and again, also how Gukesh plays, it's like the most enigmatic match in the chess history, because you don't know what to expect from both of them. Like if Gukesh plays on the level he played in the candidates, then even if Dink plays at his best, he has almost no chance. But if Gukesh plays at his usual level and Dink plays at his best, then Gukesh has no chance. So it's like, it's almost impossible to imagine a scenario where the match is more or less even. It's like one has less than 1% or another has less than 1%.
In April of 2024, Vladimir Kramnik began accusing Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky of cheating in his online games, even though Daniel Naroditsky is ranked 23rd in the world in over-the-board blitz. Just answering the fan, pretending Danya is capable of 12 wins in a row against top 10 players. Of course not. No one is, at least over the board. Later in the year, in October, Vladimir Kramnik slammed Daniel Naroditsky, tweeting at him hundreds of times, creating 9 YouTube videos on him within 3 weeks, all amounting to over 6 hours of content. On a podcast with Greg Mustreader in October, Danil Dubov said,
Fabi, actually, in that sense, Fabi is a very, very inspiring example, because for me, he's arguably the least talented player of the whole, top, 20, 30. It's very much about the winner's mentality, it's about his routine. openings, a lot of work, tremendous amounts of work. Like generally, and this is why I respect him so much, he's showing that, yeah, you don't need to be, like, to fight Magnus, you don't even need to be so genius.
But contrarily, Daniil Dubov said this about Indian grandmasters, primarily Arjun Erigaisi and Ramesh Babu Praggnanandhaa.
But when I look at like Arjun or Pragg, they obviously work like 10 hours a day. No, I mean, I probably, like, I wouldn't...
They don't have a life? Or
Yeah,
what?
sorry, yes. Yes, I mean, they don't have...
I mean, social life. They do have
Yeah.
a life.
No, I
Chess
mean,
life.
I like them generally, but
Yeah.
it seems like they don't have like girlfriends. They basically don't have studies. They don't have university. They don't have like any issues with the army, and they can basically spend like 12 hours a day on their chess every single day. And
You might be wondering where the relevance is in any of this. Well, I think we've established that it's very difficult to draw connections between any of the people that Vladimir Kramnik is accusing of cheating. But it's quite easy to draw connections from the other Russian grandmasters. Russian grandmasters are continuously singling out Indian and American players. It now seems a lot easier to draw conclusions about why these accusations are being made. Let's take a look at the top 25 chess players currently. For the United States, there's Fabiano Caruana at number 2, Hikaru Nakamura at number 3, Levon Aragnan at number 11, Wesley So at number 12, Lenier Dominguez Perez at number 13, and Hans Niemann at 18. For India, there's Arjun Erigaisi at number 4, Gukesh Domaraju at number 5, Vishwanathan Anand at number 10, Ramesh Babu Praggnanandhaa at 17, and Vidit Gujarati at number 23. For Russia, there's Jan Nepomniachtchi at number 8. That's it. There are no other Russian grandmasters in the top 25. This is a far cry from how things used to be. In the year 2000, Russia had 9 players in the top 25, including number 1, 2, and 4. The United States had none, and India only had Vishwanathan Anand. We can go a little bit deeper and see how things might progress for Russia though. The average age of Russia's top 25 players is 39 years old. However, the average age of America's top 25 players is just 32 years old, with India's being an unbelievable 27 years old. Most notably, the United States also have a lot to look forward to. Hans Niemann, Awanda Liang, Mishra Abhimanyu, Christopher Yu, Brandon Jacobson, and Andrew Hong are still all extremely young chess players, none being over 21 years old, whilst sharing an average ELO of 2,578. Likewise for India, they have Arjun Erigaisi, Gukesh Domaraju, Ramesh Babu Praggnanandhaa, Ranak Sadhwani, Nihal Sarin, Leon Luke Mandonka, Pranav Venkatesh, Pranash M, Subramaniam Bharath, and Ghosh Aranyak, none of which are older than 21. They share a combined rating of 2,660 ELO, whilst also being much younger than the Americans. To put it bluntly for Russia though, there's no real youth prodigies to look out for. There's 14-year-old Ivan Zemlyansky, rated 2,543 ELO, and an inactive 18-year-old Volodar Mazin, who is currently 2,588 ELO. Even if we try to cherry pick, we have to go all the way down to 16-year-old Artem Pinjin, rated 2,447 ELO. But apart from that, there's no one else even under the age of 21 in Russia's top 100 players. It's very obvious to me that the Russian Chess Federation is just embarrassed. Not only are Russian players being completely outperformed at the international level, but there is no one really coming through to change things for them. Not to mention on the contrary that other countries are not having this problem at all. Countries like India, America, China, and even like Uzbekistan are performing incredibly well, and Uzbekistan was a former Soviet Union country as well. It's very clear to me that there's an incredible feeling of jealousy within the Russian Chess Federation. I find the timing of Kramnik's cheating accusations extremely timely as well. After Jan Nepomniachtchi lost his second World Chess Championship to Ding Liren in April of 2022, it took Vladimir Kramnik just 9 months to start accusing absolutely everyone of cheating. Russia's best player, Jan Nepomniachtchi, fell short twice of becoming a world champion, and with no one coming through the ranks to turn the tides, it only made sense for Russia to cast doubt on the legitimacy of everyone playing chess right now. So what better way to erase the failures of the biggest underachievers in Russian chess history than to cast doubt on the legitimacy of every player they ever versed? Of course, the legitimacy of the claims are completely different, but it got the American public on Bobby Fischer's side when he told everyone that the Russians were intentionally drawing games against each other to make it impossible for him to win. What's happening right now is the exact same thing. Russian players are casting doubt over any and all players trying to write this era of chess off completely because cheating was simply too prevalent. It saves them the embarrassment in their home country when they fail time and time again to achieve anything significant on the world stage. I mentioned it at the start of the video. It's all about driving the right narrative to the right people, and that's exactly what's happening. If I leave you here on anything, I'll leave you here with this. If Jan Nepomniachtchi won the world championship against Ding Liren in April of 2022, would any of this have ever happened?